Welcome back everyone, bringing yet another ripe pepper testing video to you. Another one that's going to be less exciting because I'm not going to be crying. Today we've got the Bishop's Crown. Probably one of the more unique looking things that I'll be growing, maybe ever, just because when you look at this you don't immediately think that's what a pepper is going to look like. But this thing is a big, beautiful, red, sweet, medium heat they say, but I've never had one that even had a tinge of heat to it. They got a good flavor, fairly thick flesh walls, and the plants are huge. They're from the Capsicum bacatum species, and that means that the plants just get big and wide. And the one that I've got out front, we're going to go take a look at. You'll see just what I mean. I'm going to be comparing it to the door in the window, I believe, and you can see just how much space these things take up. They're great for containers. I grew one last year in what I think was a 10 or 15 gallon container, and the thing was so big that a small rainfall caused it to break in half. So they grow super well in North Carolina, and especially in my part of North Carolina, which is in the middle, not toward the coast or toward the mountains. But the bacatums grow super well here. They love it. And if you do decide to grow these, just make sure that you stake them up or put a tomato cage around them when they're real young. They'll grow up and through the cage just fine, and it'll help support all the weight because these things are productive. So let's go take a look at the plant, and then we'll come back and take a test. We'll try and make this a shorter video because I won't be crying and nobody wants to sit here and watch me go on and on about these peppers. So this is the Bishop's Crown. As you can see, it has grown quite large. There's a full-size door for scale. Good size window there. This thing is huge. It's from ground to top at least 4 feet tall, easily that wide, and it's just covered in these neat shaped pods. Some of them have 3 lobes, 4 lobes, even 5. I think that's the most I've seen. But yeah, we're going to pull one of these off and give it a sample. So as you see, that plant's huge. The 2 bacatums that I'm growing this year are this and the Alpine Apple. Now, these are from the same species, but they're very different. The Alpine Apple tends to bring a lot of heat with it. Once you get past the middle part, they can be quite pungent. This one, it's supposed to be somewhere between 5 and 30,000 Scoville, but I've never had any heat in them all the way down to the middle part. Now again, I'm only going to be eating around the sides because it looks like I might have had a visitor on this one, so I'm going to sort of try and keep myself to the fresher red part here in the middle. A lot of seeds in them. They're really easy to grow. Like I said, this one was the one that the first one last year that I got that turned red had a hole in it, so I just threw it in the pot. Before the end of the season, that one had deteriorated, and I had little seedlings of this one growing. They're seriously, throw seeds in dirt, boom, here they come. Probably the easiest plant I've ever grown. Easier than the bells, and the bells sprouted almost instantly. So let's take a look at what it looks like inside. There's that flavor. A unique flavor, very, very fruity. Not citrus fruity, but maybe it's floral. It's a unique flavor to the pepper family. It's nothing like the super hots. It's not really related much to a jalapeno or a bell. I suppose it's close to a bell. Closer to a bell than to the hot stuff. But again, no heat in this one. I'm going to continue eating along the bottom so I can get a good look inside. very sweet. I don't want to eat all of that part because it's got the... There it is. So there you see, plenty of seeds, still huge, and I'm telling you, these things get really big. Like, I've got big hands, and that thing was a pretty good size. So, yeah, I'm all the way. I was eating some of the placenta with that, and there's no heat in this one. So, maybe I got one that was crossed at some point with a very mild or heatless pepper, but it's just possible that I can pretty much ignore the heat from these, if anything. But then again, my dad grew them. He said that he didn't taste any heat in them either. His neighbors loved them. In fact, they specifically requested that he grow them again, but since they're not typically sold around here, I had to go ahead and do the starts for them. But these actually, this is a funny, a little bit of a story. The local nursery last year was selling specific habaneros called Caribbean Red, and I got a 4-pack of them, put them in pots, and they were doing, no, I kept 2 of them, put them in pots, and gave 2 to Dad, and the 2 that I had that were in pots were doing so ridiculously well that I went back down and got another 4 of them. Problem is, they didn't have any Caribbean Red habaneros there. As it turns out, the first 4-pack that we got were these. The second ones were nothing but hot bananas. So, Dad and I both got a somewhat difficult to find in stores pepper for free. You know, well, not really for free, but as a surprise. This was a pleasant surprise. I had a lot of habaneros last year. I had tons of habaneros last year. To have had red ones on top of the countless number of orange ones that we had, it would have been overkill. So I was really happy to actually come across these. The seeds are very easy to harvest. You can eat that much of it, leave it on your windowsill and let it dry out. Then once it's dry, reach in there, scrape the seeds out onto a plate, let them dry further, put them into a plastic bag, keep them in a cool, dark place until you're ready to throw them in dirt. Ah, these are really, really tasty. And lots of them left on the plant. So as they start to turn red, I'm going to find ways to work these into a milder sauce. I'm not going to make the sauce specifically out of these. If I'm making a hot sauce, it's going to have some heat, but that's what I've got things like jalapenos and ají pineapples for. So they'll find their way into a sauce to sweeten it up, or I might end up... I threw a lot of them in stir fry last year for color and flavor, and they turned out really well. So anyone local who wants to grow these, let me tell you something. I got tons of seeds, and they'll grow. They'll grow in anything. They're super easy. So keep in touch. Keep coming back. Got more videos coming to you soon. As I was saying in the video about the jalapeno, I've got the 2 more super hots that are turning right now, and I'm still waiting on the reapers to do their thing. The daddle peppers just recently started to actually set pods on the plant, so it'll be sometime before those ripen. They might actually end up being the last ones that I do this year, if the 7 pots set any pods at all. They haven't even flowered yet, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that. But I'll be around with something new for you, and y'all take care of yourselves.